Welcome to the Newburyport City Council meeting of Monday, September 15th, 2025. As we start, I'd like to remember two folks with local ties who are no longer with us. First of all, several weeks ago there was a boating accident at the mouth of the Merrimack. One person was recovered with some serious health injuries. And another is missing. I just want us to remember the person who is missing and presumed at this point deceased. I believe it's Joachim, would be how you pronounce his first name, also known as Joe Courteau of Derry. Also want to acknowledge the efforts of first responders, Harbor Master's Office, led by Paul Hogg. And I know there was a multi-department response there with that incident several weeks ago. So please keep Joe Courteau in our hearts and minds. And also, recently, Elizabeth Betty Lavender passed away. For those keen on Newburyport politics, she was known as Al Lavender's wife, former mayor of Newburyport, who passed away a few years ago, and also a committed volunteer to the YMCA of Greater Newburyport and also the Friends of Newburyport's library. So please hold them both in your thoughts and join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If the clerk would be so kind as to call the roll.
Roll for the meeting September 15th. Councillor Harmon.
Here.
Councillor Khan. Present. Councillor Lane.
Here.
Councillor McCauley.
Here.
Councillor Preston.
Here.
Councillor Shan.
Here.
Councillor Wright.
Here.
Councillor Zeid.
Here.
Councillor Donahue.
Here.
Councillor Granis.
Here.
Councillor Cameron.
That will lead us to public comment. So we'll take in-person public comment first. Again, presumably Newburyport resident, an issue that's on our agenda, and up to 2 minutes. If you could state your name and address, that would be great. We will entertain online comment. If you can raise your hand per our City Council rule. If you can raise your hand now, that would be good, and we will field you after the in-person public comment. I do not see any hands raised online, so I will presume no public comment. Again, you got a few seconds if you want to shoot your hand up. All right, so we'll start with incredible handwriting, Marianne Lawler. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
It's okay. Council President, Councillors, Clerk Sullivan, Marianne Lawler, 22 Woodland Street, Newburyport, of course, representing the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, the Immaculate Conception Parish Chapter. I'm here to ask the Council to approve our special event application for our annual Walk for the Poor on September 27th. I'm asking you to approve it tonight because, yes, I was late. I had my signatures, police, fire, DPS, ahead of time, but I had a delay getting the insurance certificate from the main office in Stoughton. We do this every year. It's our biggest fundraiser. We are enabled with this fundraiser to provide the hot meal on Tuesday evenings. We help our neighbors in Newburyport, Newbury, and Byfield by giving assistance with gas, food, groceries, utilities, rent, car repair. This is Newburyport, but it's eye-opening how much help is needed here in Newburyport. So it's kind of what we do. We do the best we can to help. The walk is short, 3 miles. Starts in the IC school parking lot, and it ends there as well. Donations are received by people sponsoring the walkers. We usually only have maybe 25, 30 actual walkers, but people donate. We have sponsor sheets for the 3 priests, and parishioners sign up to sponsor them, and it kind of becomes this quiet little competition. Who's got the most signatures? Who's got the most money coming in? Like I said, 3 miles, and no trash or anything like that. People may have a water bottle, but we've got trash and recycling there right at the parish center. So I'm asking you to approve. I thank you for your time and consideration. I know you've got a busy agenda tonight. Any questions for me?
Not right now, but we will, I'm sure we'll give that serious consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next would be Ben Iacono. Again, 2 minutes would be great. Thank you, Ben.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ben Iacono, 4 Alice Drive. I would like to speak in favor of adopting the resolution towards zero waste that's before you. Last October, a project was initiated at the Newburyport Senior Community Center from a discussion by Asa Stewards and Sarah Landry, Council on Aging Director, on ways that all of the users at the very active facility can be employed to develop new practices to reduce waste. Given that many center users were not new to this, as they had been brought up to repair and reuse many items and few plastics, a project and team of waste ambassadors were put together to implement ways to maximize waste reduction. 2 campaigns were identified: Drop a Bag, this is sample, and food and compostable collections, and reduce the use of plastics by advocating alternative uses and choices. Since October, the center has achieved a collection of 6.45 tons of food and compostables and have eliminated many of the single-use tableware used for coffee, lunches, meals, and converted the plastic tray for the Meals on Wheels program to a compostable one, a first step in a potential reduction of over 4,000 plastic trays per day over the 30 communities that age span covers. The next step is to continue the progress at the Newburyport Senior Community Center, declare the facility as a no single-use container facility, starting with containers of less than 20 ounces for all users, including the rental at times. Designate the facility as a zero-waste facility and open discussions with other city departments and facilities to develop similar opportunities. A model has been developed to identify resources and supportive structures needed to make significant impact. This resolution will set the tone, pace, and a visible commitment to the Towards Zero Waste 2030-50 goals established by the state, an opportunity for the city to lead the parade. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeanette Isabella.
Hi, Jeanette Isabella, 100 Water Street, Newburyport. I just want, I'm not going to try to, say a lot more than what Ben already said. And anyway, I'm losing my voice, so it's better not to say too much, except that I'm sure you'll support this, and thank you for sponsoring it, and seeing to it. It's such a big problem, and we have to, we can do what we can do to solve it. And I was one of the first, I think I was the first ambassador that Ben, roped in, and I was so glad to be able to do it. We've made great strides in just a few months, and so I'm thrilled to be a part of it. And I don't know, I'm just touched that I know you're going to support it, and I know you're going to pass it, but I'm so proud to be part of this community. 40 years and counting, and you don't disappoint. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Walt Thompson.
Walt Thompson, 100 State Street. I rise to thank the outgoing HR director for her years of service. I looked online just before I came here, and there's 653 HR jobs in Massachusetts on Indeed.com, and 97 of those are in government. You probably know, have agreed and disagreed with the mayor. This time, I'm standing to agree with the mayor, who said in the information you've received something about cruel and unprecedented manner that was used to fire a long-term employee. Mayor Holliday, I've agreed and disagreed with her, and I agree with her on that. So, my final question is, who will be paying for the shuttle buses to the current mayor's photo op on 59 Low Street? I read about that today, and maybe you can't answer, but I was curious who's paying for those buses. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, we have no online comments, so that would be it for public comment. That would get us to the late files.
Late files this evening, the appointment of Deirdre Bezina, 11 Cushing Avenue, Cultural Council, until October 1st, 2028. Order 756, the FY26 police request for 9/11 training grant for $16,110. Order 757, the emergency preamble for the order, the same number, resolution regarding the permanent appointment of the Human Resources Director.
What is the wish of the council?
Yeah, motion to waive the rules and accept the late files.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And that would lead us to mayor's comment.
Point of order.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about, Ms. Lawler spoke to us about the
St. Vincent de
event
Paul.
at St.
Yep.
Vincent de Paul. Is it in our packet as a late file?
It's under communications
It is.
in the agenda. Yep.
I did
It's
see
not a
it.
late file, it just needs to be approved today.
Communication.
It's in the regular agenda.
Okay. I don't see it as a communication. but okay.
Yep, it's application 284, regular agenda. Should get to that shortly. All right, so mayor's comment.
Oh, I
I
see.
know the mayor is online, I believe. Mayor or Chief of Staff Seer. Mayor, I guess I could make you a panelist. That might help. Mayor, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly fine. Go ahead.
All right, I mean, I was going to speak, but after public comment, I'm thrown. It was nice to have someone agree with me. Let's see. So first I want to say Plum Fest was this weekend. What a perfect day on the island on Saturday. I hope a lot of you got out there. Plum Fest is an amazing event that happens out on Plum Island. Over 120 bands, 59 different locations. I only got to about 11 of them on the Newburyport side, but it was still just such a great day. Money raised for the Merrimack Valley Boys and Girls Club. Huge thank you to the Plum Island Board and all the incredible volunteers that made it possible. And just thank you to the residents of Plum Island for opening their doors. It's such a fun event. Just good times happening all around. Interim HR Director, on your docket tonight, I just want to thank everyone who came, I guess, to last Monday's meeting of General Government. Really great conversation, and I appreciated our city solicitor's firm to be there as well to answer any questions. I left feeling very good about where we landed. Like I said, any kind of moves that we make as administration regarding HR is always done in consult with the city solicitor. So I felt very comfortable about the process that we had followed as it comes to the HR director's appointment and then also the interim director or certificate that was submitted. Like I said, we kind of went back and we did look at all aspects of this and what we can and can't do. And again, I just want to reiterate, going against the charter now at this point, and again, I thought it was very clear last Monday, we didn't have a vacancy until that 6-4 vote on August 25th, which created the vacancy, which then we needed to have an interim appointment be made at that point by the mayor's office to keep government rolling here in Newburyport. And again, that's why the clock starts on that interim appointment, that 90 days on the 26th. I think There was some discussion about trying to backdate it, but I think that was made very clear last Monday, and then also in conversations I've had since with the city solicitor that, again, that could open up the city to legal challenges by trying to do that because there wasn't a vacancy on July 1st because it wasn't carried over appointment at that point. So I look forward to hearing that conversation later, but hopefully we can put this to bed. And like I said, I will reiterate for the councilors who were not there that, Interim Director Drellick knows that she will not be continuing past this interim appointment. We have posted the position, so whatever comes first, whether we fill the vacancy or whether, the term of the interim appointment runs out, directed by the charter, that will be the end of her employment with the city. I can't thank her enough for all that she's done through all of this, to be professional and to keep coming to work every day. We're lucky to have her, and we've got some big things going on. We've got interviews for a DPS director this week. We also have union negotiations, I think happening tomorrow, but also ongoing. So again, there's a lot going on, particularly in the HR world, and we're glad we have Interim Director Drellick to guide us through that. State Street, this is a lot of stuff been going on State Street. I don't know if you've been following it. We've had a lot of water work been happening on State Street. They've been replacing valves pretty much from Pleasant Street up to Prince Place, and even up a little bit further, closer to Harris Street. But all that work has been completed. Now you'll also see sidewalk work taking place up towards the upper end, closer to High Street on the right-hand side of State Street. That work is continuing. DPS and Jeff Matheson, our city electrician, has finished all of the electrical work needed to get ready for the 18 new lanterns that are going to go up State Street this spring. So again, those have been ordered. They take a long time to get here, so we won't get them until the spring, but we wanted to get all that electrical work done before we move on to paving, all right? And that's the next thing that's going to happen. This week, DPS is taking apart the parklets, so outdoor dining season will end this week. We had another great season. I think the weather really cooperated. I think all the restaurants, again, they're a little disappointed that this season is ending short, but they do understand that this paving work on State Street is critical. So that's going to be happening this week. DPS wanted to do all this in one swoop, so they'll go ahead, take down all the parklets, store them for the season. And then again, there's a possibility that DNR will be back on, I would say next week could be the earliest that they're here to start that paving work. And there'll be a lot more information going out. We've been very collaborative and working with the chamber on this. We've actually gone door to door as well with flyers, with information, with all the work happening on State Street. So we'll continue to do that this week and next week as we get ready for that final pave. So it'll be State Street, Garden Street, and Otis Place that will be paved to end the season. It looks like there'll be some mill work during the day on State Street, and then they'll be looking through the paving at night on State Street. And a lot of that is due to the fact that, again, it's such a main road, it's going to be hard to keep people off it, and we want to make sure that they don't go on it. There'll be less people at night, and then it'll give it a chance to cool after the work is done at night, and so it'll be safer to interact with during the day. I think that's it for State Street. And then finally, two more things. The resolution on zero waste, I'll just echo what Jeanette and Ben Iacono said, two of our most prized volunteers here in the city. This is a great idea. We've been working with ACES on my administration, since I took office. We've been working particularly around this zero waste initiative these last couple of months. We've already started talking to our regional partners to come together for a sort of waste summit. We were kind of targeting October for that, but now we've kind of pushed it to February. But there's a lot of interest in the region to come together and talk about ways that we can reduce waste, learn from each other, and also hopefully partner together to help with this initiative. So again, I think this resolution is coming along at a great time with lots of things happening. And I think the model at the Senior Center is a great place to start. And we're actually at our next department head meeting are going to bring them in to talk about it and see how we can roll it out to other city buildings. And I know the schools are already doing some of this as well. So lots happening around waste reduction. And finally, recreation youth services. You just heard, yes, tomorrow we're having a community site visit. This is the first one of these we've done. We will be using city vehicles to transport people, for those who are wondering, from Bradley Fuller Field to the rec center tomorrow, starting at 10:30. The event will take place roughly between 11 and 12. Not your typical groundbreaking. This is more of kind of a Q&A session. We're going to have different stations set up after we have some remarks at the beginning, but you're going to be able to have questions with the department head, questions with the project manager, questions with the architect, and also a question and answer with the contractor are all going to be on hand. Again, it's been moving right along, a lot of work happening there. We're still targeting October, November 2026, but we're looking forward to tomorrow. We're going to have some kids coming home from the school to be part of it as well. So that is all taking place tomorrow. And that is it.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for the mayor? Councillor Donahue?
Yes, thank you, President. Just quickly, can you elaborate a little bit on the parklets coming down this week? Or not elaborate, rather, but, well, I guess what I should say is, can you assure that they will be carefully, assessed by DPS as they get taken down? Because, we didn't really get to have that conversation yet, and hopefully we will soon, but I think it would be really vital to have that information when we do. So if they could get a directive to kind of assess as they go, is that going to happen, do you think?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Do you mean assess like the parklet themselves?
Yes, the condition of each parklet.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that absolutely will happen. That's one of the things they do each year anyways. But yes, they've already started to do that.
Okay. Just, to the extent of needing replacement, things like that, that we might be facing. So I just wanted to make sure they're ready to kind of give us that information when we have a conversation soon. Yeah? Okay. Thank you.
I think that was a yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Further comment or discussion, questions for the mayor? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Mayor.
Have a great meeting.
Thank you. That would lead us to the consent agenda.
Point of order.
Councillor.
I was wondering if Council President and my fellow colleagues would entertain a motion to change our order a little bit before we go into the consent agenda and to jump to communication, the communication section. We have the applicant here, no fault of her own, and it would just be a courtesy for us to address this going forward, but it's up to the Council President and the Council.
I'd be amenable to that. That seem okay for councillors? All right, so thank you, Councillor McCauley. So this would, taking from the regular agenda, communications, Order 755, which is the emergency preamble, and application 284 for St. Vincent
Thank you,
de
Council
Paul.
President.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to waive our rules and declare an emergency for application 284.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Councillor Wright, thank you.
Thank you. So as the applicant indicated, this is a long-standing event that has occurred in and around Newburyport. It's the ICC's fundraiser, and it'll be on September the 27th, which is before our next meeting, and hence the emergency. It's the same as it's been in prior years, no significant changes. And the most important part is that the paperwork's all in order, and we do have a certificate of insurance now.
Thank you, Councillor Wright, for that explanation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, and we have a motion to approve, made and seconded, thank you. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I think we could do a voice vote. The clerk says so. Okay, so all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you. So that's 11-0. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That would lead us back to the consent agenda.
The consent agenda this evening consists of the approval of the minutes for the meetings of August 25th and September 3rd. Communications, applications 283, the Santa Parade for November 30th from 3 to 5 p.m. to go to license and permits. Application 285, the A-frame movable sign for Link's Custom Jewelry Studio to go to license and permits. Communications 665, the FY26 labor projection update to go to budget and finance. Communications 666, Kmart Development Privilege Fee response to the City Council to go to Public Works and Safety. No transfers. 2 new appointments coming in. Appointment 596, Barbara Cullen of 9 Fair Street to the Affordable Housing Trust until February 1st of 2027 to go to Planning and Development. Application 597, James Lucy of 10 Horton Street to the Library Board of Directors until September 15th, 2032 to go to Community Services. 1 order to be continued until the October 7th meeting. It's Order 754, the gift acceptance from True Homes and Design for benches on Market Square for $1,700. The following items will be removed from the respective committees with a motion to approve the consent agenda. For Budget and Finance, Appointment 590 and Orders 748 and 749. From Community Services, Order 750 and Appointment 579. From General Government, Appointment 595. From Licenses and Permits, the following applications: 274, 277, 280, 281, and 282. From Public Works and Safety, application 279, appointments 589, 591, and 592. Ordinance 207 and Order 747.
Motion to approve.
Okay, what is the wish of the council? So motion to approve, Councillor McCauley had your hand up. Did you want to remove something?
I did. I'd like to amend Communication 666 for PWS and Council of the Whole.
Okay.
And I would also like to remove Appointment 589, 591, and 592.
Okay, 589, 591, 592, remove them?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Okay. So Councillor Preston made a motion, seconded by, I believe, Councillor Herman, to accept the consent agenda as amended. Could we also add the receive and file of the mayor's comment?
Oh, yes. That wasn't my device.
All right, so as amended, adding the mayor's comment as a receive and file with those changes to Communication 666, making it a committee of the whole, and removal from the consent agenda 589, 591, 592 appointments from Public Works and Safety. And any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. All those opposed? All right, that would lead us to the regular agenda.
Regular agenda, the first is the late file appointment of 598 of Deirdre Bazina of 11 Cushing Avenue to the Cultural Council until October 1st, 2028.
Motion to refer to Community Services.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to refer to Community Services. Further discussion?
I'm going to withdraw your motion.
What? I'd like to withdraw my motion.
Second.
If my seconder.
Somebody like to approve another motion?
If I may. Yeah, so the Cultural Council is not an appointment that actually needs to go to committee, so unless somebody has a major concern about it, I'm happy to approve on first reading.
Motion to approve appointment 598.
Second.
Okay, and that would be a first reading. Okay, thank you. Motion made and seconded. And any further discussion? Councillor Wright?
I respectfully to my colleague, if it doesn't have to go, if it's not a required appointment, my recommendation would be to receive and file it. So, or do we want to appoint it?
I still, as a point of order, I think we still would approve it.
Still need to approve it?
Councillor Zede?
Yeah, the distinction is it's not an appointment that has to go to committee by our rules, not that it's not an appointment we have to approve.
Okay. Never mind.
Appreciate the move for efficiency, though, definitely. Thank you. All right, so a motion has been made for the first reading approval of this appointment. We can do a voice vote on a first reading. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you. And we've handled the communications.
So the next,
We go back to the appointments that we took out,
Okay,
or are we going to wait till the end?
well, you removed them from the, okay, you removed, I was thinking keep them in the committee section. Is that
It's up
what
to
you
you.
wanted?
It's up to you. I just,
Okay,
thank you.
okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Mr. President,
Yes,
in the interest of, or question of doing things out of order, can before we get into the resolution 757 with the emergency, can we do the general government matter that's related, appointment 595 first?
Sure.
So, just coming out of general government.
Amenable to me?
I'm sorry?
If that's amenable to me. All right, so we'll take up the general government committee matter. And so if the clerk wants to read that.
So it's appointment 595, Donna Dralick, 8 Chadwick Street, Methuen, temporary human resources director.
I'll make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
Okay, so this was discussed at our last general government meeting last Monday at this exact same time. The committee did vote this out of committee by 2-0 vote with Councillors Khan and I in favor, and Councillor Granis, I believe, present. I have to read my own notes, which I haven't typed up yet, so I apologize for that. And would welcome any committee members or anyone who was there in attendance to correct me. But we did have a fair number of councillors there. We did also have, again, this is the temporary appointment, which I know we've had a special meeting on, and we've, in our regular meeting, the council chose to not move forward with reappointment for HR Director Dralick. The mayor did then send a certificate the next day, I believe that was August 26th, to the city clerk that he was making a temporary appointment. Several councilors questioned the permissibility of that. We did have the special meeting, and then at that meeting it was referred to general government. And so we had Attorney DeLuca present there from our city solicitor firm, Hess Toomey Lahane. And, I think it was a productive discussion. There were definitely points that the councilors might not have agreed on from the attorney. But just to recap, highlighting the charter, section 3.5 around temporary appointments, Attorney DeLuca said essentially that once July 1st rolled through, when the appointment term and the contract ended, Donna Dralick was an employee at will, and there was an intent to reappoint. When we chose not to, as a collective body, to reappoint her, that created a vacancy, which the mayor, again, forwarded a temporary appointment. There were 3 opinions from the firm, which Attorney DeLuca thought were consistent and comprehensive, and that it is within the mayor's power and authority to to make a temporary appointment on that. The mayor was present at general government. He is an ex officio member, as any mayor is, and he did state there that he was, I believe the position had been posted either that day or that evening. There was some question about whether that had actually hit, and a couple hit the web, and some people had looked that up, but he has since, my understanding is it has been posted. He does not intend to reappoint Donna Dralick to that, but that the temporary appointment, again, runs 90 days with 2 options of 30 days each, which would total 150 hours. So that's sort of where we left it. There's also a question on a receive and file. If the council voted yes on a receive and file, as we often do, that becomes a matter of, in Clerk Sullivan's words, because she did some research on this, if the council does vote to receive and file a measure, that essentially means we're acknowledging that particular item and to have it placed in the records of the council with no additional action being taken. If the vote passes, the item is acknowledged and placed in the official record of the council, no additional action is taken. If the vote fails to receive and file, the item is not acknowledged and is not placed in the official record of the council, no action is taken. So that was a point that was raised there. I know lots of others will have other things they want to highlight, and in terms of their thoughts on this, but that was a very paraphrased version of general government from last week. So
Just raise a point of order before we continue.
yes.
So the effect of a no vote on a receiving file, you consider the matter off the floor at that time?
Off the floor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, discussion? Councillor Lane?
Just a quick question. So the legal opinions were all from the same firm?
Correct.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Councillor Zede?
So I'm happy to speak if no one else wants to. It's been kind of a bad, I think, couple of weeks on this matter, unfortunately. I don't think it's been it certainly hasn't been positive, and I think it's been, frankly, a little bit rough on every party. So to the prospective appointee, I think it was not a good show. I think it's been hard on councillors. I do think it's been just all around bad, and then most importantly, I don't know what message residents should take from this other than it doesn't seem like we understand how to disagree and just move on, and we've really gotten mired into a very esoteric argument about the charter, and I think we've sort of lost vision of just common sense. And so 2 weeks ago or so on the floor when the appointment was up, I really begged on the floor, and it's public knowledge, I begged before the meeting to have the appointment withdrawn. That was declined. We went to the special meeting, which would have been nice to head off, but we had to have the special meeting, in my opinion. I'm glad we did. Efforts to try and make this a little bit less rancorous were not met with success. And then today, I made efforts to say, hey, maybe a compromise here is we can change the date to July 1 on the transmittal and enter in the charter required language about how the position will be filled. That's in the charter. There's a parentheses that says insert here how you're going to fill the position. That's not in the, and that was rejected as well, which is sort of frustrating. In fact, it's odd that in tonight's comments that's now being referred to as backdating. I suppose isn't that the heart of the whole disagreement here? And so I think there's a little bit of sleight of hand there when you say, well, there were 3 opinions, but they're all from the same firm. I would imagine they probably should agree with each other. And to call it backdating when really this is the heart of the whole argument. So the common sense to me is what's really been lost in the argument is that everybody got stuck on August 25th and July 1st, and they forgot a third date. And the third date's the one in the middle when the appointment was actually submitted to us, and that was August 4th. And the city council turned it around in effectively one meeting. And that's actually the date that matters the most, because if I were to explain to one of my kids how this works, I would say, hey, the council approves an appointment, they put an end date on it, and at the end date, it ends. And instead what we have is, well, the end isn't quite the end, and a nondescript, undefined amount of time can expire or transpire between the end of the appointment and the submission, and that's called this magical holdover time, and then that can be any amount of time, 30 days, 300 days, 5,000 years, it doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden we pick back up in the universe on the date when the council says no to the appointment on August 25th. So I still maintain, and I'll speak about it on the ordinance section, that if it had been submitted timely, which really arguably would be before the appointment expires, not when the appointment expires, then I think this whole thing would have worked itself out. At least the process would have made sense. I don't know what the outcome would have been. Maybe it would be the same, maybe it'd be different. So as we've gotten further away from common sense, I don't understand here, the receive and file. It's sort of, I was obviously animated last week at the meeting about that this would probably be the outcome, or at least be the desired outcome. If it's not received and filed, it's not entered in the record. I watched some of the tape from last week. I'm sure others, were there. It's not clear what difference that makes anymore. What I know is that the date should be July 1, because that's common sense. The appointment ended on June 30th. I think an average person just reading or thinking about this would understand that. And that the 150 days could continue from there. And now we have a commitment that we're going to have a new appointee, and for that I'm grateful. I think that's the right thing for the city, and that's where I started this whole conversation. So this doesn't comport with my sort of understanding of how things work. I don't support a resume file. I didn't last week. And, in an ideal world, to be honest, just like I wanted an opportunity to vote on the underlying matter last week, I would really appreciate the opportunity to vote on the underlying matter here, and that would necessitate a withdrawal of the motion by the motioner and the seconder based on the clerk's interpretation of a receive and file failing, meaning it's a dead letter. Thank you.
Okay. Further discussion? Councilor Preston?
Yeah, thank you. I will not be supporting receive and file tonight. Basically what it really boils down to for me is that I just simply no longer have faith in the city solicitor and their interpretation of the charter. We may all recall that, we previously have proven that the city solicitor at times can have erroneous or at least liberal interpretations of the charter, which we all overrode a veto from the mayor based specifically on that fact. At the meeting last week, I did ask the lawyer who was new to us about the potential for essentially having an ad infinitum loop of appointments followed by temporary appointments, and let me say that in another way. What I asked was, if at the end of this temporary appointment, if the mayor were to attempt another appointment of the HR director and the council were to say no to it, what would stop him from submitting yet another temporary appointment? And that was sort of summarily dismissed by a councillor, but also the answer from the lawyer is, well, I just don't see that happening. And so then when I asked where in the charter would prevent that, he could not provide that. And so I would argue that our intrepid city solicitor would, if this is what the mayor would want, that she would make the argument that we could do that, because the charter does not explicitly prevent that from happening. And at the end of the day, what is really troublesome for me more than anything else is the fact that that essentially creates a loophole by which the mayor can circumvent the checks and balances on government. And in a democracy, that does not work. Even a democracy here in Newburyport, that does not work. There is a reason that we have checks and balances, and that could be a mechanism by which this should happen. And for that reason, I will not support the receive and file, because I don't want this entered into our record. I think that we should not be accepting something that allows the mayor to go around checks and balances. We are the legislative branch. The law is important, and we should be very thoughtful about allowing for us to have something that circumvents the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Wright?
Thank you, Council President. There's been a lot of discussion about when the vacancy occurred, whether what date it was. In my opinion, it's irrelevant. In our charter, section 3.5, it says whenever a vacancy, either temporary or permanent, occurs in a city office and the needs of the city require that the office be filled, the mayor may designate the head of another city agency or a city officer or city employee or some other person to perform the duties of the office on a temporary basis until the position can be filled as otherwise provided by law or by this charter. In my opinion, and I know it contradicts many other opinions, including that of the solicitor, I think that this specifically addresses your concern, that we shouldn't, according to the charter, take someone who we voted down and allow that person to become the head of the agency that we voted not to reappoint her. So that's my position. I have not been convinced by the many legal opinions, and so I will not be voting to support to receive and file this, and I don't think that it's in the best interests of the city.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councilor Granis?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to remind my colleagues that when I asked Attorney DeLuca from MHTL about us as a council changing the date to July 1, and I asked if that date holds, he said, quote, "That's your call, whether you choose that date or some other date, that's at your discretion." The council voted 11-0 at our special council meeting on September 3rd to change the date from August, I don't remember the date, but
26.
August
26.
Thank you, to July 1. I'm not sure why we're not sticking to that. That's straight from Mr. DeLuca's mouth, who is representing the city as our city solicitor that evening. So I just want to leave it at that. And I'm also curious, why did it take 2 weeks from our 8/25, August 25th meeting, when the council voted down this reappointment for a job posting to be posted? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Further councilor comments? Councilor Harmon, then Councilor Donahue.
Thank you, Council President. I'm hearing some arguments that I've heard at least twice before. We've been talking about this for a couple of months. I just want to provide my interpretation of where we are. I think I respect the majority of this body that initially rejected this permanent appointment. That is the will of this council. I think it has not been a smooth or clean process to get from that vote to where we are tonight. But we do have a resolution in front of us. I thought, as the mayor said, we had a productive dialogue a week ago in which the will of this council, perhaps reluctantly, perhaps in a process that we would not wish were the process, but is ultimately going to be respected. And so dates, timing of a posting of a job, I just implore my colleagues to allow us to move forward tonight with the understanding that what we've said, which is that this individual should not be appointed permanently to this role, is being respected, and that a process is underway to find a permanent replacement for this person, and that through the resolution which is on our agenda, we codify that, those expectations and the history of this process. And so someone asked previously in the debate, I don't know what I would expect or would want residents to take away from this. My hope is that residents can see us tonight standing behind our will and moving forward with respect for city employees and the process in a way that isn't about points or rehashing something that I think we can all agree could have gone better, but rather turning the page and moving forward in a way that I think is in the best interest of the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Donahue.
Thank you, President. So I am a little bit perplexed how we move forward, like kind of in general, but a couple things I do want to mention. When we met with the Attorney DeLuca, one of the things that he had mentioned about the dates, that there was this holdover period of employees at will status. I just want it to be understood by those who were not there that I did raise the point that was the first we'd heard of that. That was like, we've been, as was pointed out, talking about this for a couple months now. And suddenly there's this, new piece that makes it okay as to why they had the dates the way they had them. So I think it is important that, and worth noting that, with all due respect, the administration is just kind of, changing the goalpost and to suit their needs. And it's not respectful of this council. It's not respectful of the will of the council, the will of the people that is this council. We did make a decision. We made that decision based on an understanding that we had vetted this individual and that many of us felt that the person was not competent. We are now in a decision-making position to say, are they, there's certain vital things that we need to finish up here, and is this person actually competent enough to get it done properly? So that would be my argument to that point, as to why it's imperative that they stay on until certain things are finished. But more importantly, another point was brought up about when when it was, why was there this delay from 2 weeks before the posting? I also had a very troubling experience where the chief of staff literally asked me what I thought would happen if we did not approve her appointment, before we declined to approve her appointment. And when my response was simply that I would expect to see job posting go up, I was met with chagrin, laughter, disdain, like just this like, no, that's not what's going to happen. We're going to do what we found in the charter says we can do, which is the continuation of governance. It's like each step of the way of this process, they're just, oh, we found something we can go with, so we're going to go with that. That's not any kind of process. It's egregious at best at an attempt of doing what they're supposed to be doing following the charter. I mean, and the 3 different opinions from the same solicitor firm is, I don't know how to digest that either. I mean, we've been banging our heads against the wall saying we don't trust the solicitor's opinion. This particular solicitor has this way of interpreting our charter to suit the needs of the mayor only, and many of us have made it very clear, including when we did not reappoint them, and which was also ignored by the mayor, I'll point out for the public, we're stuck having to work with what we feel we understand of the charter, because we can't actually trust the solicitor's opinion that is consistently only jiving with what the operative of the mayor is. So for me, I just don't know how to move forward in supporting this one way or the other, and am just very stunned that we're in this position in the first place. But here we are, and I do appreciate the resolution that we're going to discuss. I appreciate the good faith effort of it, and that hopefully it will solidify something for administration to understand. But receiving and filing this temporary appointment without any kind of real acknowledgement or give from administration, and how very awry this entire process went, and that there were missteps. I mean, all along it's been, no, we can do this, we're allowed to. Nope, this is part of the process, we're allowed to do this, this, and this. But yet they don't actually know it until they're in the seat of the fire. So I don't know. I guess I'll just yield with that for now, and look forward to what some of my fellow councillors might have to add. Thank you.
Councillor Shand and Councillor Khan.
Thank you, Council President. I think my fellow Ward 3 councillor stated it well at General Government last week, that we do need to be better about understanding what the process is for 3.5. I think we've dealt with it differently from in the past since I've been on this council. Sometimes we receive and file, sometimes we approve, sometimes, there definitely needs to be a better definition for us on that front. But in the end, I do think our city solicitor is our city solicitor, and they are representing our community, whether we like their opinions or not. And I can say that the last time we had a different city solicitor, we didn't always like their opinions either, so it's not like this is any different. I will say this has been a bumpy road. No one can say this has been easy for anybody in the last few weeks, so I do think going forward, I'm going to take our city solicitor's interpretation of 3.5, and that the mayor does have the opportunity and the right to put a temporary person in, and I would vote to receive and file this, but I do think we need to be better about how we handle all of these types of temporary appointments going forward. There should be some more consistency to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Khan.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Council President. Yes, I too will be supporting the receive and filing of the temporary appointment. I do think that it was clear through the written attorney's determinations that is indeed what a temporary appointment. It is not requiring the vote of this body. So I will definitely, in terms of it going and being kind of stamped in by the city clerk, that is the process, that it gets noted, and the public knows that what is going to be the interim position of a vacancy. So we did get it, I think typically, and what I hope we do in the future is we get these as communications, and then that way the council and the public can see it, and then we receive and file it in that manner. I think one of the things that we've been obviously talking about this for I feel like months or weeks at least, you know, we go through the timeline, and I do think there's a lot to learn from everything that we've seen transpire here. A lot of it really does come down to the communication between the executive branch and the legislative branch. The contract expired at the end of June. We knew the HR director's contract was done. There were questions publicly asked by the council here about when is, you know, what's happening with this person's role. We haven't, you know, is an appointment coming? What's happening with the contract? There was no ambiguity or confusion. People knew that that contract was coming up and was going to expire. I think this is where the communication breakdown, or I would say a breakdown of trust, happened. Because if one is to look at the actions that have happened afterwards, it doesn't look good. It looks, and that's why we're in this position. If everything is done in good faith, we could follow our rules, our laws, and stand by them. But everyone needs to at least come to the table and just honestly say what happened. Now, the attorney DeLuca did note that when the contract expired, that employee is an employee at will, meaning that they are still in place. And then that's where the attorney talked about intent. We kept asking, did they have a job? Should they still have legally been here in City Hall? And the attorney kept saying they weren't escorted out. They weren't let go as soon as the contract was expired. So the expectation is that employee is going to be kept, and therefore an appointment then came to us. Now, did it come in a timely manner? No, it did not. And again, that's that breakdown in trust that we see that happened. And I recognize and I acknowledge that to my colleagues here, that I agree with you and I agree with the frustration. And I hate that in a full agenda here, we're spending so much time on a topic that I know we spent many hours. But the breakdown of trust is really the root of this issue. Now, going back to the next steps, though, I do still want to honor our charter, our city solicitor's opinions, because let me tell you this, there are instances where many of us have felt that did they make the right decision? Do we agree with their decision? Can we get a second opinion? And that is obviously something that we do need to solve by trying to either create more of a budget, have another attorney or person that we could counsel, the council themselves can have somebody. But at the end of the day, the firm that we have, the firm that we've been basically, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the reappointment of them and how that happened, another breakdown in trust, but the bottom line is they are functioning for the city of Newburyport every day on other matters. We are just seeing this one matter. If we don't trust them, then it is really bad for any and all other things that they are doing for us right now. So I really caution everyone that we may disagree on some of their opinions, on how they kind of landed in some of these issues, and I just ask that for this particular issue, that breakdown of trust that has happened is now being resolved. The temporary appointment and the communication at general government, which was a great meeting, I thank my colleagues who did the resolution. It kind of brings the points that we were worried about. There were things that we raised that we're worried about, that this is stalling the clock, waiting for a new council to come in and then bring this person back in. We heard all that and we dealt with it in general government by talking about it, getting the mayor at our table to verbally agree that this person is not going to stay on, that they heard what the council has said, but it takes time. That resolution that's going to be coming up next really is the solution. That is, we shouldn't have to do that. We know that. But this shows that because of what happened, we have this resolution. Typically, it shouldn't be like that, and I hope we could be better in the future. But in this case, this really does need to be received and filed, and we need to lay this to rest.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councillor Lane?
I think what was just previously stated is the crux of the problem. There's no trust. Personally, I don't trust the city solicitor. I had an issue 2 years ago with residency of a councillor. Some of you may have recalled. I was told that it wasn't worth it. Timeline will run out. Basically, like the loopholes that were protecting why it happened, and it wouldn't be addressed. Right out of the gate, I had no trust in them. So we're actually going on the opinion, and I said straight up, If this is the legal opinion we're going to use at that general government meeting, I'm not going to waste my time, because surprise, surprise, we get another on-call attorney who gives the same answer. So why wouldn't they give the same answer as the city solicitor? That's the huge problem here, is we don't trust our city solicitor. We don't have good guidance as a body. And I feel the same as some of the previously stated facts, that we're looking at a game of loopholes and timelines and the games being played. So I don't know why we haven't had a meeting or an executive session with one of the managing partners from this firm. I've never seen them show up. I've never seen their face. I don't know who they are. We should have a conversation with them over some of these trust issues. I feel like this should have happened months and months and months ago, but it hasn't, so here we are. I honestly don't know which way to go on this. I just want to put it to bed. It's just, you're seeing in real time the distrust between one arm of the government and the other, and it's awful. And I pray that in the future this body can fix that problem. And I pray the administration, whoever that may be, recognizes the problem and why we're dealing with all of this. I mean, think of the time we are wasting. We're going to get to the same result, but we're just spinning our tires. So recognize we have a problem with our city solicitor. None of the super majority of us voted not to reappoint them, and that's why we cannot trust what their legal opinion is. If I'm going through a divorce and I don't like my attorney and what they're saying, and I fully believe that they're not representing my best interests, I get another one. But we can't do that because of what we're set up. So the problem here is no trust between both arms, no trust in the solicitor, and the inability to realize you've got to change things, or this is just going to keep happening until the end of the year, and it's just a huge waste of time. So with that, I yield. To be honest, I don't know which way I'm going to vote on this. I want to put it to bed, but I also don't like the games being played, so we'll see where I fall.
Councillor Zeeb?
I just want to make one last pitch. If you want it to go to bed, evidently, either way this vote goes, it's going to bed, because it'll be disposed of. So I think I want to reinforce an at-large councillor's point from earlier that, you know, in a lot of ways, a yes vote is sort of a tacit consent to this, a tacit consent to submit the reappointment when you feel like it, pick a date, no problem. It's sort of a consent to the city solicitor can't seem to even see that there could be an alternate argument, which I think is sort of silly. I understand the city solicitor's argument. I understand colleagues who agree with it. It is an opinion. It's called that for a reason. On the other hand, isn't there another side to that coin? So I really implore folks to vote no. It will be dead either way, a dead letter at the end of the day. If we receive and file it, as mentioned, it goes into our official record, and probably at some point somebody will refer back to it and say, see, here's how it works. If it's a no, then we can just dispose of it and we end at sort of impasse, which is essentially okay, or maybe in my opinion better than having it go in the record officially as sort of like we acknowledged it. And it does. It goes to the core question of whether you think what happened here was sort of right, and if you don't, I think a no vote can be a sensible thing to do. And again, it's going away either way. So I'm just stating to my colleagues, don't vote yes because you want it to go away. It's going away either way.
Councillor Khan?
Yeah, thank you, Council President. I just want to clarify my position because I probably was unclear. I don't mean it to go away by saying let it receive and file. I think it really does come down to that we are talking about people, and the council, in essence, fired someone, right? I mean, that is the way to think about it. And there were reasons. Obviously, I respect the will of this body. The will of this body was not to reappoint this person, and I respect that. Obviously, I was one of the 4 that was against it, but the rest of you agreed to it, and I respect that. And so I'm not at all like saying I want to revote or I really want to, change what has happened. But here's what it comes down to. This is an individual. It's a human. And I think, I don't know if we all just want to do double down on it and do one more no. And that's not me. So I'll just say that to me, our process is to receive and file. I'm going to stay true to who I am, what I do in this role. We already said no on the appointment. This is just a temporary to have the position and the at-will continue until someone, now we have a job posting, we are going to have it filled. But for me, receive and file is better than just double downing with another no. So this is what we're supposed to do. It's a certificate. Should never have come before us anyways, but at this point, it really should be a receive and file, and I will be a yes.
I'll just make a couple of comments as Chair of General Government and as a member of General Government, and councilors will vote as they see fit. I think that there's the charter, there's our code of ordinances. There may be things we like and dislike about whole elements of both of our governing documents, and many of those have been expressed. You know, at this point, the charter gets changed on a regular basis, and we're a few years away from that, so that is what it is. And again, different interpretations, and we've certainly heard, heard people that are, find the city solicitor's opinion credible, and others who don't that don't agree with it at all, in whole or in part. I would say to the temporary appointment ad infinitum, I think the word temporary appointment right front and center. I don't see anybody ever buying that a mayor can keep appointing them. I don't know if it would be politically wise for anyone to do such a thing, but legally I think that's a hard no. I think that's pretty clear. But there are other ways that we make our voices heard. One is to change our ordinances, because we can do that. I know Councillor from Ward 1 is offering something that I think we will take a hard look at, and I think there's, I haven't discussed that with the Ward 1 councillor, but I see some of the intent in there, and I think many of us are going to agree with that, if not all of us. And also the resolution that's been offered by the at-large councillor and the Ward 3 councillor, I think that continues the communication, some of which happened last week with the mayor in general government. But I agree that we need to put this to rest one way or another. And again, it seems like whichever way this goes in terms of the receive and file, it will be temporarily stopped. But as we know in the city council, nothing ever is put to rest completely. So that conversation will continue through those other venues. Again, somewhat tonight for the resolution and the ordinance, and what will be a long-term process. So anyway, Councillor Granis.
Thank you, Council President. I do want my colleagues to know that I am 100% behind a temporary reappointment. I understand the continuity of government and keeping this position filled for 150 days. The contract expired on, I can't remember dates.
June 30th.
June 30th, thank you. And 150 days would have brought this temporary appointment to November 28th. I understand. In my mind, I was not asking that that the HR director be escorted off campus and to leave this position open. I want my colleagues to know that. But the delay tactics by the administration is unacceptable. And by receiving and filing this, we are telling residents, we are telling our future councils, we're telling future mayors, delay as you wish and get what you want. Unacceptable. And I will tell you, I'll close with this. I will happily vote to receive and file this temporary appointment if we change the date. If we change the date to July 1, the day after Mr. Ehrlich's appointment contract has ended. Thank you. I yield.
Councillor Khan, and then Councillor McCauley.
Yeah, I just need to clarify one more thing. This should never have come to us as an appointment. So I think it's a certificate that gets filed with the clerk. Yes, we've turned it into an appointment. Changing the date of it, and I guess I just don't know how else to say it. It's a certificate that the administration puts forth because the vacancy occurred, and we could disagree with what's the date of it. But at this point, if our worry is about it running out through the end of the year, that's why the resolution and having the mayor at our general government is there. But the reason that we are trying to receive and file this is it just is like a communication. This is a communication. And I don't know how else to say it, because normally, and I think from now on, if we could at least get this written, and everyone and every counselor in the future should have a list of what we do and what we don't, but Temporary appointments are certificates that get stamped in, come in to us as a communication, we receive and file. So I just really want to clarify that saying no to this as a communication because we're upset with the date that's on it is not in our purview. That's what the mayor, and as I mentioned before, that breakdown of trust, which I think the resolution here is normally not done. That is something that I think will be unanimous. I would think we could all get behind that. In fact, all of us should volunteer to put our names on it, so it looks like we were all part of it. That is unusual, and that piece is the one that you normally don't see here. So I just really want to clarify that this is procedural, and anything we do outside of a procedure with the temporary appointment is really now, like I said, it's just to make to not get to the collaboration. You know, we talk about collaboration. Here it is. This is collaboration.
Councilor McCauley?
Yeah, I yield, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Point of order.
Councilor Donahue? Yep.
Just a quick question. If receiving and filing, or yes, no, or maybe so, whatever happens, it says no action follows. I'm just wanting to know if that would in any way prevent the resolution from being allowed. No, okay. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, Clerk Sullivan may want to weigh in on that, but I wouldn't think so.
No, it wouldn't.
Each would be a standalone.
I'd like to move the question. Stop wasting time, move the question, please. I'd like to vote.
So we'll take a vote. We'll do a roll call for this one, even though it's a receive and file. So
We have to vote to move the question, right?
You can withdraw it if you like, seeing as we're going to...
Can we just vote?
okay, roll call.
And the seconder also agrees to withdraw.
Okay. Roll call.
Roll call on appointment 595 to receive and file. Councillor Harmon?
Yes.
Councillor Khan?
Yes.
Councillor Lane?
Present.
Councillor McCauley?
Present.
Councillor Preston?
No.
Councillor Shan?
Yes.
Councillor Wright?
No.
Councillor Zede?
No.
Councillor Donahue?
Present.
Councillor Granis?
Present.
Councillor Cameron?
Yes.
Meeting 6, getting 4, motion fails.
Okay, so that was 4 to 3?
4, 3, 4. 4
3.
yes, 3 no, 4 present.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing changes.
All right, nothing else to report from general government. That would get us back to, okay, I believe orders in the regular agenda?
Did you want to address the second reading appointments that Councilor McCauley pulled out?
Sure, we can do that now, yeah.
Did you want to do those second reading appointments now, or did you want to do them later, the ones that you pulled out?
No, I can wait.
You'll wait.
I can
Okay.
wait, sorry.
Then that'll go to orders.
Okay, thank you.
So the next is Order 753, the gift acceptance law enforcement drone for $10,500, anonymous donor.
Motion to refer order 753 and 756, which is 911 training grant to Budget and Finance.
Second.
One thing, I'd
McCauley,
like
yep.
to make the drone one, council of the whole, please,
Thank you.
753.
if I may, Council President. The reason that I'm asking for it to be council of the whole is drone technology is listed under our surveillance technology, and while much of the narrative that accompanies that may address some of the issues, we do have a checklist as per our ordinance, 12.10, I believe, and none of that was truly, so it's actually not only approving of the financial aspect and acceptance of the grant, but also acceptance of the technology as well. So I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that going forward. So.
Okay, Councilor Zede.
To my colleagues, if the general sentiment is that the broader, bigger issues on this are the tech and the public works and safety aspect as opposed to the money, I'm happy to send it to Public Works instead. I don't know what people are more concerned about. 10,000 is not a historically large gift. It is anonymous, which is why I didn't say we should continue it, but I'm open to that if Public Works wants to take it up.
Councilor McCauley and others.
Yeah, I think that they can be worked through in the financial aspects of things. I mean, we have to create, everything can't be, segregated into one and the other. I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time on that. So we can look at the money, but we can also make sure that the checklist that we're asking for is also accommodated for in that as well. And if it's not, then we can take actions after that. Thank you.
Okay, so Budget and Finance Committee of the Whole, and the other item
Was the 911 training grant.
is also...
Order 756.
Is Budget and Finance.
Just budget, yeah.
Okay, so collectively on those, any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Next is Order 757, the emergency preamble, and the order that it's supporting resolution regarding the permanent appointment for the Human Resources Director.
Motion to waive Rule 12A, declare an emergency, and approve the emergency preamble for Order 757 as an emergency exists to ensure the timely appointment and transparency to the public of matter referenced in Order 757.
Second.
Okay, discussion. So that was all on the emergency preamble
Not debated.
aspect of this. Do a roll call. Thank you.
Councillor Harmon?
Yes.
Councillor Khan?
Yes.
Councillor Lane?
Yes.
Councillor McCauley?
Yes.
Councillor Preston?
Yes.
Councillor Shan?
Yes.
Councillor Wright?
Yes.
Councillor Zede?
Yes.
Councillor Dennehy?
Yes.
Councillor Granis? Councillor Cameron?
Yes. Counselor Shand?
All right.
Are you making a motion?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, just checking.
Motion to approve Order 757 as soon as I give you 2 amendments.
Second.
All right, thank you, Counselor. So yeah, I'm sorry that we are having to go through this tonight. And I'm also sorry that this got in because this was my working document and it is not my finished document. So there are 2 things in here that I would like to amend. The third whereas, where it says the General Government Committee meeting minutes. I know those have not been approved yet, so I'd like to take out the minutes. And then there is a comment in here where it states, it's our first, now therefore be it resolved. City of Newburyport reaffirms its directive that Ms. Dralick shall not be retained or reappointed. I would like to take out retained because I just want it to be just reappointed.
Point of order, I think the one that we have in our packet
Yeah.
is accurate.
Those aren't in this.
Online it is correct, both of those.
All right, so my bad. All right, so then good.
The clerk's
Thank you.
office is
Awesome.
telepathic.
So I love how that worked out. Thank you. Good to know. All right, so we go back to, all right, the basics. This is what we heard at General Government last week. Basically, we have a temporary appointment. It came in on August 26th, and the mayor was here. We learned that he was going to post a position, and most of us were able to get to that position online that night. This is basically just asking the mayor to go forward with the permanent appointment, go forward with keeping us up to date, and make sure this happens by the end of the year. And this is just the transparent way that this body can show the public that this is what we are trying to do for the city. So hopefully we can all agree to it. Glad the amendments are already in there.
Okay, further discussion? Councilor Granis?
Thank you, Council President. Just real quick, I agreed to co-sponsor this with my at-large colleague. I think having the council's request on the record as well as holding the mayor accountable to his words is of the utmost importance. So I obviously 100% support this. I yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Zede?
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to amend this, strike the second whereas.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. The reason for this is, that's actually that whereas is the debate we just had, and I don't think we should get back into that. It's done now. So the nature of the temporary appointment, 3-5, all that stuff, I find the rest to be helpful, and would like to vote for it, but I would like to ask if that could be stricken by amendment. Just get rid of the whole whereas, and that way we don't have to have a debate again about any of those pieces.
Okay, motion was made to amend by Councilor Zede, seconded by Councilor Wright. Councilor Khan?
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. And actually, I will support that striking. And I'd like to say why, too. And I think one of the things is we should never have gotten that as a temporary appointment. In my research looking at other communities, normally what should have happened when an appointment fails is we should have been posting and looking for a job right away. And I think there's a holdover. That employee at will should have just kept going until that's posted and they could fill it. There was no need to come here and tell us, I'm going to still keep them, which is the perception that was seen. So in other communities that I looked at, there was no need for a temporary appointment, and I do agree with some of the words the other at-large councillor said, is that a vacancy is really if the person is gone, fired, left, retired, nothing like if they failed an appointment. So I do think that striking that second one makes a lot of sense to me, and I would support that amendment.
Okay. Any further comment on the amendment? Okay. Do a voice vote on an amendment. All those in favor of the amendment offered by Councillor Zede, seconded by Councillor Wright, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, that passes. So underlying motion to approve the resolution. Further discussion, Councillor Donahue.
Yes, thank you. I just want to thank both the sponsors and really appreciate this effort. I do feel like it's important that we have this verbiage in place. I would like to offer adding my name as a co-sponsor, if that's amenable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Duly noted. Councillor Preston.
Yeah, I too am supportive and would be happy to put my name on as a co-sponsor.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll do a roll call on this.
Councillor Herman?
Yes.
Councillor Khan?
Yes.
Councillor Lane?
Yes.
Councillor McCauley?
Yes.
Councillor Preston?
Yes.
Councillor Shan?
Yes.
Councillor Wright?
Yes.
Councillor Zede?
Yes.
Councillor Donahue?
Yes.
Councillor Granis?
Yes.
Councillor Cameron?
Yes. Okay, thank you. That would, I believe, bring us to ordinances.
Ordinances, there's one, Ordinance 208. It's to amend Chapter 2, Section 26, referring to appointments.
Motion to refer to General Government and Committee of the Whole.
Second.
Any discussion? Councillor Zede?
I think we probably had enough of this conversation for tonight, but consider this a down payment on, doing it differently and hopefully better in the future. This seeks to make a relatively short form amendment to Chapter 2, of course, of our ordinance, not of our charter, in terms of the timeline around the submission of reappointments and disposition thereof if should it fail. So I'll look forward to defending it before general government. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, motion to refer to General Government Committee of the Whole made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No. All right, gets us to committee items, Budget and Finance.
Motion to approve appointment 590.
Second.
This is candidate Julie Langerand of Salisbury for Treasurer Collector through 9/1/2028. The Committee on Budget and Finance met on August 28th, and the candidate appeared before us. She has been the Treasurer Collector for 16 years and has been doing the position for quite some time. We actually didn't have a lot of questions about the position itself or even the applicant per se, but we ended up getting a little bit of an update from the department, as sometimes happens during these appointments. And some of the biggest things that they are working on in the Treasurer Collector's office and that the Treasurer Collector is working on is so-called land of low value. So these are little slivers of parcels that end up, in a sense, being orphaned. They're privately owned. They do get a tax bill, but the tax bill is rarely paid because you're literally talking about like an edge of something that got left over from development. So there's a lengthy process by which these land of low value can eventually become public property and get them off the tax rolls, which sounds counterintuitive but is good because there are a lot of administrative overhead to send those bills out for like $12 and $100, but altogether these land of low value add up to $1 million. So they are working on that. It does require coordination with the assessor's office as well as the planning and development office. Then we talked a little bit about tax title, which of course is the concept of proceedings when taxes are not paid for a very long time. The candidate stated that this is something that they're fortunate to not really have done in a very long time, meaning actually take somebody's home as a result of taxes not being paid, and they're working really hard to work with the landowner whenever they can in order to come up with a payment plan or something that can alleviate and deal with those. And then the last piece of the position we talked about was the Treasurer Collector also really manages the investments of the city. At any given time, obviously, we're sitting on quite a bit of cash, for example, trust funds, and so we just got a brief update. They are looking at, unfortunately, interest earnings, which we've been enjoying a little bit of a bubble on, going down in the next 90 days. And then we talked about if that might have any budget impact. We happen to have the finance director, and she said that if any impact of materiality was determined, that it could be taken into account when the tax rate is set. In the end, the committee expressed appreciation and gratitude for the candidate. Again, she's been doing it for a long time, and satisfaction with the job that's being done, and recommends to you an approval by a vote of 2-0.
Okay, thank you. Just a quick point of information. So the lands of low value, the tiny parcels, that adds up to $1 million. Is that assessed value?
Correct. Yeah, that's what she said. It's about $1 million worth of parcels.
Yeah.
Spread. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, spread out over a lot of little pieces.
Councillor Wright?
I would just like to take an opportunity to expand on the tax collection piece. Massachusetts is one of the states that if you have a tax bill and you own your home free and clear, if the city forecloses, which fortunately we've never done, or we haven't done in a long time, but there are other communities that do this in Massachusetts, if they foreclose and take your property through a tax lien, the city gets to keep all the equity in that property. And so that's why it's so important that we continue to work with people who are in that situation. So we're not, taking their personal property, their equity, as part of the process.
Point. Any further discussion? Okay, so the motion was to approve the appointment. This would be a second reading, so we'll do a roll call.
Appointment 590, Councillor Harmon?
Yes.
Councillor Khan?
Yes.
Councillor Lane?
Yes.
Councillor McCauley?
Yes.
Councillor Preston?
Yes.
Councillor Shan?
Yes.
Councillor Wright?
Yes.
Councillor Zeid?
Yes.
Councillor Donahue?
Yes.
Councillor Granis?
Yes.
Councillor Cameron?
Yes.
Motion collectively to approve Order 748, Police Department Maya Fitness Equipment Grant, $24,563, and Order 749, Police Department State 911 Emergency Management Dispatch Grant, $18,000.
Second.
Thank you. So I've put these together. They're both fairly routine, and I'll explain why. Order 748, Maya, of course, MIAA is our insurance company for the city, as many of us are familiar. The police department applied to them for a grant for fitness equipment, and they were approved for this amount, granted this amount, $24,563. The money will be used to purchase fitness equipment, treadmills, weights, that sort of thing. And these are going to be replacing existing equipment in an existing space within the police department. Obviously, the goal and desire of the insurance company is a healthier workforce, is hopefully lower claims, and I'm sure the city would appreciate that as well. So it is a reimbursable grant, so the city will expend the funds, and then they'll get a reimbursement for them, and there's no anticipated ongoing budget impact, because again, it's going into an existing, they already have a gym, and they'll just get some updated equipment. In terms of Order 749, this is a recurring annual grant from the state. And it's basically used, as you can see from the note here, to offset, providing EMS, emergency medical services dispatch. $18,000 funds the contract with Cataldo, which is the private ambulance company that runs ambulances in the city. Of course, Cataldo doesn't live on $18,000 a year. They bill users who end up needing an ambulance ride for those rides, but this is sort of part of the connection between the city and Cataldo. The city's received it many years in a row. It's part of a very large grant that comes out of the state. The city applies. We did ask if the $18,000 had any particular meaning. It doesn't have any specific meaning. It's not one of those that's based on population, but you apply, and I think the best nexus we discovered is just related to the amount of the contract. They're probably going to give more than obviously what we're sort of contracted for. Both of these in the end were recommended for your approval 2-0 by the committee.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Well, at least one of these is, well, they're both fairly sizable, so we just do a roll call.
Collectively, orders 748 and 749. Councillor Harmon?
Yes.
Councillor Khan?
Yes.
Councillor Lane?
Yes.
Councillor McCauley?
Yes.
Councillor Preston?
Yes.
Councillor Shan?
Yes.
Councillor Wright?
Yes.
Councillor Zeid?
Yes.
Councillor Donahue?
Yes.
Councillor Granis?
Yes.
Councillor Cameron?
Yes.
That's it for matters tonight. I just want to provide two last things. One is in conversation as well during our finance director update. Some residents have been asking about when the audit of the city's finances would be delivered, going back now to FY 23, believe it or not. And I guess the firm that the city uses was rolled up in a big acquisition along with a bunch of other smaller firms, and that really is largely the reason that the audits have been delayed. But the finance director has also been really wanting the audit, as well as the treasurer collector. That's the context this largely came up in. Our former finance director, now working on the schools, has recently submitted all the data that's needed. So I think we had public comment on it in our committee about the importance of timely reporting of financial data, which is a very well taken point. So I wanted to tell you that's what we're hearing, is that the audit is forthcoming. It's way behind schedule compared to when it's supposed to be done, but they are working on it. And budget will meet on Thursday at our regularly scheduled time, 6:30. We will take up the drone gift. The finance director, this is new, really for us, has also provided a labor projection that just got referred. So councilors are invited if they're interested, or if you want to send questions, you're welcome to do so, and I yield.
Excellent, thank you. That will lead us to community services.
Yes, motion to approve Order 750.
Okay.
Thank you. So Order 750 is a resolution towards zero waste. I am the sponsor of this particular order. We discussed it in committee, and we did have several members of the Alliance of Climate and Environmental Stewards, which are with us tonight as well, that were there to help us understand the efforts that are going on there, that, as was mentioned, so I won't belabor it, but this is really a collaboration with many of the surrounding communities. There's a great deal of very good work that is already being undertaken, specifically around the Senior Community Center. The mayor's report actually stated that there was 3 tons of compostable materials that have been collected at the Senior Community Center. It's actually 6.5 tons of compostable materials since last October. So some really amazing work that has already gone on there. We also, importantly, had a member of ACES who is a high school student who spoke to us about the importance of getting this resolution forward, but more importantly, the efforts around zero waste and the impact that it will have on her generation. So the onus for this particular resolution really, for me, was out of a conversation with members of the ACES group, really helping me to understand that there was this statewide mandate to reduce waste by 30% by 2030 and by 90% by 2050. And just really, the resolution is really so that people can really take awareness of it and hopefully get more on board with these efforts. At our meeting, Molly Ettenborough, who is the manager of sustainability, was in attendance. She discussed, the fact that the city's been working on this for quite some time, moving towards zero waste for quite some time, but that it's an enormous effort. We really highlighted both composting across the city and the need to get more people on board with composting, as well as the work that's being done at the recycling center down on Colby Farm Lane. I actually was not even aware at how extensive the ability to bring materials down there is. Nearly every single thing that people are looking to eliminate from their homes can be taken at the recycling center. So it's really important that members of the community really look at the website, really understand where all these what materials are acceptable, things such as textiles and mattresses, which are now illegal at a state level to put those into the trash. So there's really some amazing work that's going on there, but more importantly, it's so imperative that that every member of the community really work toward reducing waste as a whole. And I hope that this resolution, both will be supported by the council, but also, that people in the community really take notice of this. We did have one amendment to the resolution. The councilor from Ward 4 asked to be added as a co-sponsor. So what you see in the packet is the amended version, and it was voted 3-0 to recommend approval to the full council.
Great, thank you. Further discussion? Okay, hearing no further discussion on Order 750, I think we do a voice vote on that. Clerk?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just checking. All right, all those in favor of Order 750, resolution towards zero waste, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, so everybody voted yes. Thank you for the advocacy and explanation Councilor Preston?
Yeah, motion to approve appointment 579.
Second.
Thank you. So appointment 579 is Matt Ellsworth to the Parks Commission for the next 5 years, because I did not actually realize, but the Parks Commission appointments are a 5-year appointment. Mr. Ellsworth has been on the Parks Commission for the last 5 years. He happens to live in a property that abuts the Atkinson Commons, and he really came on as the Atkinson Commons representative when the Parks Commission was changed a few years ago, and he takes particular pride in the work that was done there. We did have some discussions about the work that's being done in Atkinson Commons. We had some discussion about the really fantastic work that has happened both at Lower Atkinson, but also some of the work that still needs to be done in the main body of Atkinson Commons, most notably the tower that we've discussed in several meetings as it relates to CPC funding and those sorts of things. There was also a discussion about the concern about e-bikes on the rail trail, and frankly that they are a safety hazard because some of those e-bikes go very, very fast. Mr. Ellsworth let us know that there actually is a speed limit on the rail trail of 15 miles per hour. There is no restriction on e-bikes on the rail trail because they are, at the end of the day, bikes. And that there is no discussion right now at the Parks Commission specifically around those, but they do recognize that there are some issues there. The committee voted 3-0 to recommend for approval of this appointment.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Further discussion on the appointment of Matt Ellsworth, appointment 579? Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Appointment 579, Councillor Harmon?
Yes.
Councillor Khan?
Yes.
Councillor Lane?
Yes.
Councillor McCauley?
Yes.
Councillor Preston?
Yes.
Councillor Shan?
Yes.
Councillor Wright?
Yes.
Councillor Zeeb?
Yes.
Councillor Donahue?
Yes.
Councillor Granis?
Yes.
Councillor Cameron?
Yes. Councilor Preston?
Yeah, no further business tonight. We will hold our next meeting a week from tonight on the 22nd. We do have 2 appointments to the Commission on Disabilities as well as an appointment to the Waterfront Trust on our docket. Thank you.
Thank you. General government, nothing else to report. I would be eager to move along on the update from the clerk's office and the rules amendment to 10B, as well as the ordinance regarding the resolution regarding the HR director. We'll wrap those up in our next meetings. And Clerk Sullivan and I have been talking a little bit about the update that will come quarterly from the clerk's office, and we'll have a further discussion about that at next general government. I'll triple check that those dates, I think we're scheduled 2 Mondays from now. I'll make sure that that works for everybody, and we'll move forward on those outstanding items. That would get us to licenses and permits.
Thank you, Council President. I think I'd like to make a motion to approve, because we're all on the same theme, application 280, 281, 282, and application 274 as amended.
Okay, well, that's 4 of those applications, 274, 280, 281, 282.
Yeah, so I'll start with 280. So let me, before I say that, I just want to state that the reason I'm bundling them all together is because they all have something to do with the waterfront park, which is wonderful that our park is in such demand that people want to use it for these events. I'd like to thank my colleagues on the committee and the applicants for working through prioritizing the use of these events. I'd like to thank the Chamber specifically for their flexibility in changing their dates and their locations to resolve a lot of conflicts, particularly around the Indigenous Peoples event that created all of that. So application 274 originally came into the council as a request for the park. It was originally requested for October 4th and 5th. But that conflicted with an event that we already approved. So they agreed to modify it till October the 11th and 12th, and they are having it on the Bullnose at Market Square and N Street, as opposed to they've agreed to move it there for their vendors. So that takes care of that one. I'm trying to do these kind of in... the other one that comes up next is application 281. This is regretfully the rescheduled date for the Beetlejuice concert that was cancelled during Yankee Homecoming because of the weather on that day. So this is also going to be at the Waterfront Park. It's going to be on September 28th from 10 until 5 p.m. They will be using essentially the same portion of the park that the indigenous people are using. That's the Waterfront Trust area, and then the area in the eastern part of the park, which is the part that's closest to the restaurants, leaving the rest of the park open and available to the public. All of these events are doing that. So that's that one is occurring on that date. Then application 280 is the application from the Indigenous Peoples Day event. They've requested use of the park on October 11th, with a rain date of October 13th. They have a number of things that are planned there. They're using, again, that same portion of our park. They're using the property for the Waterfront Trust, which they've approved and applied for and approved for. They're also using a portion of the Custom House land to do an event there as well. Again, the access to the park for the rest of the community is available for that day as well. And then, which one have I not done yet? 282. So, yep. So this event is the 282 is the chowder event. It's being conducted by the Yankee Homecoming group, and this is occurring on October 12th. They've also coordinated with the Indigenous People event. They're bringing in their tables and chairs for their chowder event, and they're leaving them there available for the Indigenous People group to use the next day. So they're setting up ahead of time to make that happen. They plan to have that in the Waterfront Park in the same area, and the other part of the park will remain open. And let's see.
I think you got them all.
Did I get them all?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So,
any
any questions on any of these individually? Councillor Lane?
I was on the committee, and I didn't even think to ask, and I don't know if anybody for the Indigenous Peoples event is online, but I've heard things about launching a canoe in the Merrimack, and so they are doing that. The one thing that hindsight, looking back, I hope they coordinated with the harbor master and Coast Guard, and I would hate to see somebody launching a homemade canoe in October in the Merrimack, but, so they did? Yeah, okay, I just wanted to make sure. I thought of it after, I'm like,
Pass that along, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
no,
idea.
thank you. Yep.
I'm not riding in that.
Voting safety. All right. Any further questions, discussion? Councillor Harmon?
Not a question, comment, and giving my colleague a minute to catch his breath between all of these things, but just to members of the public, it looks like it's going to be a very busy Indigenous Peoples Day weekend from Friday through the following Monday holiday, so lots to do downtown, and hopefully we'll have good weather for those things.
Thank you. All right. Hearing no further discussion, so collectively for all four, I think we can do a voice vote if the clerk nods her head. Yes. So this would be on application 274, 280, 281, and 282, all collectively. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, thank you. Councillor Wright?
Make a motion to approve application 277.
Second.
This is not happening on the waterfront. This is a Newburyport Half Marathon. It's occurring on October 26th. The applicant came before us, and this is an ongoing event. We've had it a number of years. It's the same, essentially the same route and impact to the city. All their paperwork and all their insurance is in place. The route is attached to the application. There's a half marathon and a 5K. And the areas that are impacted and the approximate times are listed as part of the application.
Okay, any further discussion? So application 277, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? That's all right.
I have nothing further.
Well done, thank you for moving expeditiously. That would lead us to planning and development.
Thank you. Nothing to come out of P&D tonight. I will look at my 2 committee members and remind them that we are meeting next Thursday at 6 o'clock because we were avoiding Rosh Hashanah, presuming that we have the appointment coming in that came in tonight available. I'll keep you posted, but next Thursday. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. That will lead us to Public Works and Safety. Councilor McCauley.
Thank you very much, Council President. So first of all, I'd like to collectively take appointment 589, 591, and 592 and make a motion to send them to Public Works and Safety.
Second.
The reason we did this is we had some discrepancy on timelines, and for one, the meeting that we had some scheduling snafus, and none of them were able to attend. So we wanted to bring them out, and then we'll put them back in, and we'll have a meeting next week with these attendees going forward.
Okay. Thank you. Discussion, Councilor
Yes,
Wright.
through the chair. How are we on the 45-day appointment window? Has the administration made any accommodations to us?
So if we meet on the 6th of October 6th, when we're scheduled to, it'll be 43 days. Excuse me, I'm sorry, October 6th or 7th, it'll be 43 days. We've moved it to Tuesday, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so it'll be 43 days, it'll be right up. We've actually, one could argue a technicality that we actually did take an action on them. We brought them out today, and then we brought them back in, again, going forward. We had asked the administration to submit an email to us extending the 45 days. We do not have that, so we'll take this action that we have going forward.
All right, thank you. So that motion was made to put back to committee. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. Councilor McCauley.
I'd like to approve application 279. If the weekend of September 27th wasn't busy enough going forward, we actually will have our Oyster Fest going on, hosted at Fish, which is at 75 Water Street, which is across the street from the tannery. The request here is the event is held on their property. They put tents in the back, et cetera, along the way. But in doing so, they actually displace 2 handicap spots in their parking lot. And the request for us is to allow them 2 temporary handicap spots in front of the building going forward. They're mapped out in your packet going forward. They've done this in the past. They put up temporary signs, they man them, and they help people in and out of those spots collectively during the day. We thought this was a good use of temporary spots. It doesn't take any time and effort or from the city on their behalf. All we need to do is approve it, so we approved it 3-0 going forward.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we can make that a roll call. Application 279, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Order 747.
Second.
This is an application from E.B. Rotondi, a licensed contractor, to become a licensed contractor of the city. We went through a conversation with Mike Rotondi, the owner of that His paperwork is in order, he's done, his references are attached, his bond is attached, his insurance is attached. Pretty much the city is looking to him to become a licensed contract, an alternative licensed contract for water and sewer lines, drain laying, road work, sidewalk, electrical communications. This is important, this is imperative for us to approve them as a licensed contractor so they can actually do work in the city on these types of work for homeowners, et cetera, going forward. We had approved this 3-0.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, ordinance, do a roll call.
Order 747, Councilor
I'm
Harmon?
sorry.
Yes.
Councilor Khan?
Yes.
Councilor Lane?
Yes.
Councilor McCauley?
Yes.
Councilor Preston?
Yes.
Councilor Shan?
Yes.
Councilor Wright?
Yes.
Councilor Zede?
Yes.
Councilor Donahue?
Yes.
Councilor Granis?
Yes.
Councilor Cameron?
Yes.
Motion to approve ordinance 207.
Second.
This is a request for a handicap spot. This is on the southerly side of Milk Street at the intersection of Lime Street. It will be starting at 20 feet from the intersection and running westerly 20 feet. The homeowner out in front has a recent debilitating physical injury, and they are requesting a handicap spot in front. They do have parking on the other side, but the size and width they're unable to get in and out of the car because of this handicap ailment. After some deliberations and hearing from the applicant, we had approved this. It would be good through August 25th of 2028 going forward, and at that time it would expire, and/or they would have to reapply for that going forward, depending on what goes on. As I said, I believe we approved this 3-0. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Mr. Harmon?
Question through the chair. So when that expires in 2028, is there, or perhaps to the clerk, is there a notification that goes in some advance warning to the resident to let them know that they need to reapply? No. So I guess to note, anyone in the ward council spot for that resident, let them know to mark their calendars. Thank you.
Councillor Zede and Councillor Donahue. Councillor Donahue?
Oh, are you sure?
He's passing, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So I will speak to this quickly as the ward representative, and it is right in the sort of split of 1 and 2 on Milk Street, as it were. The applicant is of the understanding that this is only a 3-year approval, and that they would have to come before and apply again. They're also very much clear on the understanding that the handicap parking space is, while it will be designated as such, it is still a public space for parking. Anyone legally with a plate or placard could park there, and they do understand it is not reserved, isolated to their home. So that being said, I think they're pretty clear on, what they're getting here. It's a matter of allowing for a little more ease for the resident with the recent debilitating injury that has caused this permanent disability. So any questions, I'm happy to answer. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Motion to approve ordinance 207 on first reading. Councilor?
Just one point of order. Is there a desire to waive the second reading so that we don't have to wait another, you'd have to wait if you want to get the space done for the resident? May I suggest waiving the rules, and then you can approve it in one reading?
There is a desire, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you'd like
So
to.
moved.
Yeah. So motion to waive the rules to waive the second reading, so that'll allow this to be approved finally tonight.
Okay. Second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Collected with the NOI.
Well, I don't know.
Take a vote on
Maybe let's just
waiving.
vote on them separately.
Yeah, probably separately.
So
yeah.
vote on them separately. So waiving the rules, declaring an emergency due to the nature.
No, it's coming out of committee. There's no
Oh, okay,
emergency. We don't need that. Just a waiver on the
Just
second
want the
reading
second, okay.
solely.
All right. I think you can do them together then.
Okay, do it together, yeah. Roll call on both.
Councilor Harmon?
Yes.
Councilor Khan?
Yes.
Councilor Lane?
Yes.
Councilor McCauley?
Yes.
Councilor Preston?
Yes.
Councilor Shan?
Yes.
Councilor Wright?
Yes.
Councilor Zede?
Yes.
Councilor Donahue?
Yes.
Councilor Granis?
Yes.
Councilor Cameron?
Yes.
There is nothing further, but I do want to mention that we do have some items that we'll be addressing at our next PWS meeting. I would like to note for all of us, including the administration, that we are anticipating the first surveillance use technology report that is due to the council no later than October 31st, given our calendar. I hope we could get it beforehand at our last meeting. Going forward, it's clearly laid out in the ordinance what we expect on that. And so, in a nutshell, it should give us an update as to how surveillance technology that is deployed is being used, how often it's being used, and what we're doing with the data going forward, in storing it or manipulating it or saving it or whatever the case may be, as well as any associated costs with storing it, et cetera, along the way. It's part of the ordinance that we passed unanimously to be able to do that, so I would just trying to give everyone a heads up that we are expecting that type of information.
All right,
Thank you.
Great, thank you. That would lead us to good of the order. I have one which would be to wish the voters of Ward 6 the best of luck, as well as the candidates, and also thank our current Ward 6 councillor. Tomorrow is preliminary election day. It's not a primary, it's a preliminary election.
It's tomorrow?
It's tomorrow, yeah. Make sure you get out there, Councillor Lane. And thank you to the clerk's office for running, knock on wood, a smooth preliminary election, as far as I know. But any further good of the order? All right, hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.